Hello, hello! Welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. My name is Koosje Koenen and I am here on my own creative journey, and hopefully I can give you some guidance along the way on yours. And today I have an idea that isn't mine, I stole it. I stole it from the museum here in Amsterdam, the Van Gogh Museum. Yes, we're talking about Vincent van Gogh, not Van Gogh, not Van Gogh, Van Gogh. A couple of days ago, or actually a while ago, I saw a post online from the museum, and they talked about the hands that Van Gogh used to draw as studies. So I looked it up online and I saw some really interesting studies in charcoal and pencil. And at the museum, they're also encouraging people to draw their hands, to, channel Van Gogh. So I hope that we can do this together today. Instead of using charcoal, I'm going to use one of my favorite colored pencils, a pink one, just because I feel like it. But I do like to use a colored pencil because it has a certain softness to it, and it's quite forgiving, which is nice if you are sketching and finding your way and doing that study of the hand. And we'll just take it bit by bit. I saw a few of Van Gogh's sketches with hands holding something. And I think he actually used models mostly for it, but why not model ourselves? You have one hand that's drawing and then the other hand can model. So I was thinking I would do a modern version. So instead of holding a brush or a bowl or a knife, which I saw in all those studies, I will be holding my mouse. It's a modern version while I channel my inner Van Gogh. Make sure to have good lighting, preferably from one side. Maybe simply sit next to a window, which is what I am doing here. Van Gogh probably would have used daylight from the window as well. I start with my middle finger since it'll be the highest point on my drawing. If I'd start at my thumb or the side of my hand, I would risk running off the paper. So this is just a strategic starting point. I'm looking at the white of the computer mouse that I see between my middle finger and my index finger. And I draw that negative space rather than looking at the details of the fingers. This way I can outline the shape of my hand without thinking about all the digits and anatomy and all that. By looking at the negative space again, I can add the thumb, and I slow down, trying to trace with my eyes the outline of my hand, wrist and arm, and letting the pencil follow the way my eyes travel. Now that I have this side on the page, I want to make sense of the rest of the fingers and the other side of the hand. The contrast between my hand and the dark table is helpful. That way I can see the negative space, which is the shape around my hand, and that helps me to find the right proportion of the overall shape. Usually when I draw, I am very okay with things being a little bit out of proportion, but as I have given myself the assignment to study my hand like the old masters, I am now correcting my line a little, thinking that maybe I will probably add a background anyway that will cover those extra lines around the shape. Now, if I would have worked with charcoal, I could have simply smudged out the lines that I wasn't happy with. Now, instead of focusing on the shape, I will focus on darker bits and I'll start shading. For the bits that have darker shadows, I add more colored pencil layers, or I use more pressure on the pencil for a darker effect. I'm doing this with a lot of patience, and I slow myself down, really looking at small parts of my hand, zooming in on the shadows that I see on the sides of the fingers, around the knuckles and the nails. It's a study, and secretly, it's a meditation. All that matters now is moving slowly from shaded bit to shaded bit. If you find it hard to see the shadows on your hand, try squinting your eyes. It filters out the details and also some of the color a little bit. You will notice a distinct difference between the highlighted areas and the shaded areas. I also want to add the drop shadow below my hand, which falls on the computer mouse as well as on the table. I'll start with the mouse and I'm trying to match my strokes with the curve of the mouse. I think it's really nice to see how the drawing now gets more dimension and depth by adding all these shadows. The longer I look at my hand and my arm, the more shadows I start seeing. I feel like adding a background. It doesn't have to be smooth, thick layered, scratchy lines, that will do. And in the darkest areas of drop shadows, I will add more pressure. To fill all of that in, I won't need my model hand, and I will turn my sketchbook a little to be able to make my strokes in various directions. One more look at the model. I'm trying to add a bit more detail to that pinky finger, but I'm too heavy-handed, and now I feel like I should fix that by adding more background. I don't think that was the best decision, but this is how we learn. I'll just add a few more darks, but then I need to let go before I overwork this even more. I have no idea if Vincent would approve, but I'm pretty happy. I went through this whole process and process of decisions and process of really looking at all the bits and pieces at my hand and the shadows, and I think it was just really interesting, and I forgot about time and everything, and that's really what it is about. I hope you will draw your hand today too, or maybe you have been drawing along, and that it teaches you something. Maybe it just teaches you how much you love drawing. Maybe it teaches you something about your pinky or your index finger or whatever. I just really hope that you will have fun in your sketchbook, because that's what it's all about. Right, thank you, Vincent. And I will see you next week. I'll be here with another Draw Tip Tuesday. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel here, because then you won't miss out on my Draw Tip Tuesday videos. And also, if you want to help out, you can support me on Patreon. I will add the link below the video. I'll see you next week. Bye.